We are not the brand that's for everybody. When people think about hair products, they want something that smells like berries and strawberries and sweet dreams. And if you shop with us, it's probably going to smell more like lavender and peppermint. And we use essential oils. Now, with our body products, I do play a little bit with like fragrance oils. But as far as like our hair products go and stuff, like I'm intentional about just using essential oil. So in the beginning, I remember people would say, "Oh, it smells like shea butter." I'm like, yeah, that's what's in it.
Like, that's what it is. Like, not trying to cover up and mask the smell with a whole bunch of additives.
Yeah. Like, you should put a little fragrance in it. No, that's not what we do. Like, if you want something with fragrance, then there are people that do that. But for us here at Sunny, we are very sure about what our calling is and what it is that we do. And we're talking to the people who want natural products in their natural form. That's what we do here.
Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, a safe space for ambitious beauty industry creatives to have real talk, get authentic answers, and practical tools to grow their businesses. Join me every week as me and my special guest reveal the keys to longevity and success in the beauty industry, from the ups and downs of their journey to the nitty-gritty of their struggles and triumphs. We're spilling the tea on it all, and most importantly, having fun while doing it. You ready? Hey, what's up? It's your best friend in beauty here, Aquia Robinson. Welcome back to another episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast. I am so happy to have you here, and I hope you're listening to this episode in high spirits and in good health. Now, on today's episode, I have the pleasure of having Gillian Nelson in the Friends in Beauty guest chair. So Gillian is the founder of In Denbigh, which is a natural hair care brand birthed based on hair care needs that she had for her own two daughters. In Denbigh products are natural, non-toxic, providing solutions for many chronic skin and hair care issues, and has been endorsed by thousands of customers since its launch in 2019. So I'm so excited to talk about it. Welcome to the Friends of Beauty podcast, Gillian.
Hey, Aquia, thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
I'm excited to talk to you and chat all about your brand. Before we do that, though, I love to start off with icebreaker questions. I always say so the Friends of Beauty audience can get to know you a little bit outside of what you do for your brand. So first one, just give us 3 random facts about you.
So I started my business when I was 42, which is old.
No, it's not. Stop it.
I mean, yeah, people don't usually start a business at, or maybe they do, I don't know. Prior to that, however, I was a college professor for 17 years. I have 3 children, my eldest of which just left for college, and I've been married for 21 years.
Wow, these are okay. So the random facts got me. So what were you a professor of in university?
Business. I taught business management. I worked at a community college for a long time. I thought that was going to be my retirement plan. And, God had other plans for me, apparently. So here we are.
Yeah. That is fantastic. A business professor, and then now you have a business. Did you have your business, any kind of business when you were a professor?
The last year before I left my job is when I started the business, but the pandemic happened shortly after, and the business was taking off, and I was kind of at a point where I needed to decide what to do. And, I was kind of holding on to that security blanket on my job.
Yeah.
And I wanted to quit. I had wrote my 2 weeks notice like 65 times, and I just couldn't submit it. And pretty much, God outed me, and I was on a Zoom. We have these weekly Zoom calls, and I don't know if I should tell this story, but we have these weekly Zoom calls, and I was at home, pandemic, so we were working remotely, and I'm in the meeting, and somebody volunteers me to do something. And I was kind of like, it was right around when the George Floyd stuff happened. I was kind of stressed out about that. It was just like a lot. And I thought I was on mute. And apparently it was bad. When you hit the space bar when you're on a Zoom and you hit the space bar by accident, it unmutes you. And I accidentally hit you know what? I think God was just sick and tired of me holding on to this thing, and he had called me to something else. And it was either this or I'd probably be still there, to be quite honest. So my hand hit the unmute button, and I said to my husband, See, they always volunteering me to do stuff because, and my boss says, Jillian, you had something to say? I was like, no, no, no. And I put myself back on mute and I got off and I looked at my husband like, oh my God.
That is so
One of my
crazy.
coworker texted me. She was like, girl, did you just say that on the call? I was like, so everybody heard me because I wasn't sure like how I had unmuted myself.
Yeah.
And after the call, after the Zoom, I had to call my boss and I'm like, listen, so I didn't tell her like exactly everything, but I just said, my kids are home and it's just a lot. It was really like an emotional time. And I'm like, I just need to take some time away to like, and she was like, okay, take all the time you need. And I'm like, no, like I'm not coming back. Like it's not a time away. Like I'm done.
Right.
Because at this point the business was doing well and I was just having a hard time balancing work, mom,
Right.
well, kids being home, business. It was just a lot. So something had to give. And I
Right.
just felt like that was God. He was just tired of me. When I said tired of me, I should
Wow.
have been quit. And I just didn't have the nerve to do it. And that's what happened. That's how I left my job, a 17 year.
Wow. Look
Yeah.
at God. That is
Yeah.
crazy. We're going to jump back into that because we need to unpack like
That
that
was
whole
an embarrassing story. Like to this
that
day,
whole
I like
story.
cringe. I'm like, did that really happen? That happened. That
You
happened.
always see things like that, like memes and things on Instagram. But wow, it really happened to you. That's great. We're gonna come back to that because that's a cool story to me. But next one for the icebreakers, what do people always tell you that you're good at aside from what you do business wise?
People just always tell me I'm a good person, like honestly. Like people who really know me, and I know that sounds like so cliche, but I get that a lot. Another thing they tell me like I'm a really good cook because I love to cook. And
Okay.
I always say I feel like if you can cook, you could probably make hair products because it's like,
Mm, the
if you know
same
how to put it
mixing.
exactly. So those are the two things that I would say that people would say about me.
Okay, cool beans. When is the last time that you did something for the first time? Any new experiences?
Um, this was actually back in June. We went to my daughter graduated high school and it was her 18th birthday. We went to DR for about a week and I zip lined and I would never do zip lined over the ocean, by the
I
way.
did that
Like,
too. It
you
was
did?
Machuca.
Yes, wasn't that fun?
Yes.
Yeah. So usually when I got up on that ladder, I was like,
What
yeah.
what
So
uh,
how can I
what did
get
I do?
down? Like, yeah, but that was something new for me. That was something different for me because I am like, I don't do stuff like that. I don't like roller coasters. I don't like any of that stuff. But I kind of got talked into it and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I
Oh,
vowed in that moment, you know what? You should let loose and do more stuff like this because that was truly fun. So, yeah.
yeah. Okay, I like that being a little adventurous,
Yeah, I'm not adventurous per
like a
se.
thrill seeker or nothing like that.
No, no, My kids are, and I'm like, all right, I'll wait for you down here, type thing. I'll hold the bags. I'm the
Yep.
friend that will hold the bags and the sunglasses while y'all go have fun. But I did that, and that was really fun.
That's good. I feel like once you do it one time, you're like, oh, okay, it's not
Well,
that
I'm
bad.
definitely doing that again, like for
Yeah.
sure. See,
Yeah.
now I want to do it in every country because I've seen it like so many different places, and I've just like, ooh. But then this one was like even more daring because it was like over the ocean. I'm like, oh, okay, so you just go,
Yeah.
but it was cool. It was so fun.
I love that you did that, stepping out of your comfort zone. I'm here
Yeah.
for it. Yeah. What is a current mini win or a highlight that you had so far for the year, like a milestone that's leading up to maybe a bigger goal that you have?
Um, a mini win. It's been one of them years, but I'll say one thing I will say is I it's a personal mini win. It's business related, but it's personal. It's almost like I feel like I got to this point in my business where not like I lost myself, but you get to a point where you trust experts more than you trust your own judgment. And as you grow and scale a business, of course, you have to hire people to help you, and you have to hire people to help you scale and grow. And in hiring people, sometimes you look at these people as experts, and you're hiring them to help you to. And then for me, it just made me a mini win for me, or a big win for me, was realizing that yes, you can hire people to help and you can hire people to advise, but ultimately, only you have the vision for what you want, and you have to be, more vocal and more, don't just sit back and, oh, well, that didn't work, let me trust them because they know best. You know best. So
Yeah.
it's almost like the mini win for me was just learning to trust myself again, because I felt like I lost that, and I felt like I was depending on other people to get me from point A to point B, when in
Yeah.
essence, I am the sauce. I have the essence. I can then tell them this is how I want it done, but just being confident in that. And for me, that was huge, because that had me stuck for like so long. Like I was just stuck for a couple of months. I couldn't figure out why. And it's
Yeah.
just because in that moment, I wasn't walking in my truth. I was kind of waiting for the voice of others to be like, and then I'm like, no, wait, hold up. No,
Yeah.
so just learning to trust myself again, listen to my voice and know that this is my vision. This is the seed that God planted in me. And I have to now say, okay, this is what it is. This is where we're going. This is what I want. So it may not be like a physical win per
Yeah.
se, but for me, that was huge, because that got me unstuck.
Yes, I love that. Trusting your intuition, trusting
For
yourself, and
sure.
knowing that you do have the answers already within you.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. And I'm sure that resonated. I was over here shaking my head like yes, because I've been kind of like a similar situation.
Girl, I'm telling you, I was stuck for the longest, like just sitting here, like, okay, what do I do? What am I doing wrong? No, you're not doing nothing wrong. You're just not trusting yourself. You're
Mm,
just not believing in yourself anymore. You lost that. You need to get that back. You need to stand in your truth and own that. And as soon as I did that, it's like the path just opened up.
wow. Look at that. All right.
Yeah,
I hope y'all caught that. It's for somebody out there.
I
So the
hope
last
so.
one, if you weren't the founder of Sunny and Denby, is there anything else you could see yourself doing right now?
I'd be a professional traveler.
I know that's right. Shoot.
I just go on vacation and just hang out. Yeah, that's really, listen, that's
And
really
get
what I
paid
like to
for
do.
it.
Right. So, I mean, I would just be I love traveling. I love going new places. I love, learning about new cultures and people, and trying new foods. And I love a good beach. And that's what I do. If I have my way, that's what I do for
Yeah,
sure.
me too. I love that. Cause I love to travel too. And I'm like, even better if I can get paid to do it, then
Right.
and do
Right.
the things that you're naturally going to do anyway, like create content,
Exactly.
take pictures, and
Exactly.
tell
And
people
get
about
people.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, man. So you have to tell us about the brand, Sunny and Denby. How did this come about? I know it came about from, challenges with your daughter's natural hair and everything, but unpack it for us.
Okay, so I had two girls. They were pretty close in age. My girls are like 15 months apart. So new mom, working, doing all the things, and I had this problem with their hair.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt mom guilt, because I felt like I wasn't good at it. I felt like they were developing this stigma where they didn't like their hair, because combing their hair and wash day was just so traumatic for everybody.
Yeah.
I'd be coming from work Friday evening, like dreading it, like, oh my gosh, I got to wash these girls' hair, and as soon as they see me grab the products, they start, I'm just like,
Texting
okay.
up and
Yes, because they have 4C hair. They truly have like kinky, coily hair. And it's not like I wasn't buying good products. Like I was really doing my best, like to research and to buy the things that I thought were popular, the things I saw other people using. And it just wasn't like, it would work maybe for like the first wash day or the first week, but it just wasn't doing what I wanted it to do.
mm-hmm.
And my daughter came home one day and she was like, "Oh, mom, like why does my hair look different?" Or like I would never put like braids or extensions on their hair. At least I knew to do when they were young. I knew that much. I didn't want that weighing down their follicles and like making their hair thin from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I would put it up in little styles, like little cornrows or whatever. But they were wondering, why my hair looked like this at the end of the day. And I just felt so bad. So I'm like, I'm Jamaican, and for us, everything is about making something from scratch somewhere. And I've always been into like herbs and oils and researching things. I love to research. You asked me what else I'd be doing if I wasn't doing Sunny. I said traveling. In addition to that, I'm a truth seeker. I love research. I
Oh,
love, and not traditional research, because I feel like traditional research is flawed. But
uh-huh.
if you want to go down a rabbit hole with me, girl, I would take you. And I have found things out like on my own that, if you dig deep enough, you're gonna find out some stuff, and
Right.
I found out some things. So um I started, researching about these butters and oils, which I kind of knew a little bit about, but we had an Amazon account and I would go on Amazon and I started ordering like, a pound of shea butter and some mango butter and some avocado oil and some this and some that. And I started researching like Ayurvedic herbs and mixing and doing things and YouTube and all of it.
Yeah.
And making products for my girls. And the first product I made, I didn't always get it right. Like it took a lot of trial and error. I was doing this in my kitchen, but the first product I knew I got right was our hair butter. When I made our hair butter and I had used it on their hair that Sunday, and it was like Wednesday and their hair like still looked moisturized. And I'm like, well,
Mm,
okay. This is a little different, and I
okay.
started to use the hair butter. Then I made me a little black soap shampoo and then I started boiling up some herbs and we got some leave-in conditioner. Then I'm like, oh, I think we need a deep conditioner. And
Okay.
over the years, I had created a product line I didn't even know. I just
Right.
had
And
these
just
bottles.
for yourself, for your
It was
children.
for myself, for my house. My husband had really bad eczema. I remember when I met him, his mom telling me, oh, he has really bad skin. And it was all cute until that point. But then when we had two kids and I was having to bathe the girls, anything involving water, he couldn't do because his hands were so sensitive. They would like break out and the detergent would irritate him and all of
Mm-hmm.
that. I was like, oh no, we got to fix this. I ain't about to be
Because
taking
I
care
ain't about to
of
be the
this by
only one
myself.
bathing the babies now.
Hey, I need you to wash some bottles and bathe some children. So then I made up a little body butter. And he was like, babe, like my hands feel like they're getting better. And I'm like, for real? And he was like, yeah. And so it's just like using like natural ingredients like butters and oils and stuff. Unknowingly, I had created these products that we were just using in our house because I
Right.
didn't see the value of, I just figured anybody could do it. Like, I was doing it, anybody could do it.
Yeah.
So I honestly never thought of a business, even though I was like healing people and the girls here was growing. People was asking me, you know how many times people asked me, I could have been selling that butter. And
Right.
ask me like, Jill, what are you using in the girls' hair? And I'll just be like, oh, just some shea butter. But I wasn't telling them all this stuff I was adding to it
Right.
because, I don't know. Women, we just make ourselves small and dim our light and we just, choose these roles as wife and mom and we just feel like maybe that's all we can do at the time.
Yeah.
So that's really how it started. Oh, so what happened? I got outed again. God be outing me all the time. He has a history of just like, now that I think about it, I'm like, wait, that wasn't the first time he outed me. So I have been making these butters at home. And I remember I turned 40 and that my birthday is in November, like right around Thanksgiving. My birthday is usually either the day of or the day after, the day
Okay.
before, right around then. I was just so depressed like that year. And I'm not the kind of person that gets depressed often. That's maybe one of the only times, maybe twice in my life that I could truly remember just being like down. I'm not that
Hmm.
kind of person that really goes low. And I just felt off. I just felt like something needed to be different. I felt like I needed to be doing something else with my life. I didn't know what, and I said to my husband, I said, babe, I think we need to have another kid. Now, by now we have three kids, right? And I'm thinking,
Uh-huh.
oh, for sure, having a baby would fill this void. That has to be what it is, right?
Right.
And he's looking at me like, girl, where are we gonna put the babies? We living in this two-bedroom house. Like the kids are on top of each other as it is. Where
Hmm.
the baby gonna sleep? He was like, no, babe, like, I don't think we
Like
should.
that's not the solution.
That's not the solution. I'm like, man, so what is it? So then I don't know why, but I felt drawn to starting a business. Even though I had all these products that I was making, it never crossed my mind that that was it. I was thinking something. No, I ain't thinking
Something
about that. That
else.
was just so menial. That couldn't be it for sure. No, I wasn't thinking
You was
about the
thinking about a
product.
totally different
Yeah,
business that you
I needed
wow.
mentorship. So I joined this mentorship program. I remember it was $1,000. I joined this mentorship program and I signed up that day and I got the an email and it said, we're doing like a welcome call that night. So I'm in my living room. I never forget my first time on a Zoom around. I'm a very introverted person. I don't do stuff like this. So
Okay.
I'm in a room, not a room, on a Zoom with other people in this room who are also entrepreneurs. Everybody had a business.
Mm.
And they're doing like round robin. What's your business and what do you need? And people are like, oh, hi, I'm so and so. I sell candles. I do this, I do that. And I'm thinking to myself, oh,
Like, what am I gonna say?
dang, like, what am I gonna say? They finally get to me and I'm like, yeah, so I don't have a business, but I'm here because I'm interested and whatever. And the guy says to me, he was like, well, what are you good at? And I'm like, well, I'm good at a lot of things. I'm like, I cook, I'm a mom, I'm this, I'm this. He was like, do you make anything? And I'm like, yeah, like, I make dinners for my family and I said, oh, I make hair products for my kids. He was like,
Yeah.
oh, what kind of hair products? And I'm like, hair butter, whatever. And I told him shampoo, conditioner. He was like, oh, my wife is natural. I'm gonna give you my address. I want you to send me some stuff and I'll let you know if what she thinks, like, just to get her opinion. And I was like, oh my God, I was not ready for that. Like, this
Right.
is my thing. This is for me and my girls and my husband. This is not to share with you and your wife. Like, I
Right.
wasn't ready. So I said, I don't even have containers to send it in. Like, it's not no. He was like, go on Amazon, order some bottles, or go to the dollar store, get some stuff, just put a label on it and send it to me.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. When I tell you I stalled, it was about a month and this request was weighing on my spirit, but I just couldn't I didn't have the confidence. I couldn't bring myself to make it to send it to him.
Mm-hmm.
He messaged me. He was like, hey, I'm waiting on the products. Like, I'm like, okay. So I went to the dollar store. I got some containers. I made black soap. I sent him black soap shampoo. I sent him leave-in. I sent him hair butter and body butter.
Uh-huh.
And I got some little Avery labels and I got a Sharpie and I wrote hair butter and I put my phone number on it. The brand didn't even have a name because it wasn't a brand.
Right.
It was just hair butter, my phone number, body
The
butter,
Nelson
my phone
family.
number, shampoo, my phone number on it. Because the phone number, because in the beginning you had to call me for me to tell you how to use the products, right? We were
Okay.
not evolved people at all. Like you were just like very basic and ghetto with it. So I sent these to him and a few weeks went by and he called me. He was like, hey, he said, my wife has been natural for a long time and she really loves these products. He was like, I think you might have something. I'm like, oh, okay. He said, why don't you start making videos of yourself making these products at home and start an Instagram. Just post it on
Like,
there.
I know the introvert and you was screaming like,
Right.
what?
I'm like, okay. So I was cool with posting it on Instagram because to that date, I didn't have an Instagram account. I was on Facebook,
Okay.
but I didn't have an Instagram. So I'm making my little videos. I'm posting it on Instagram. I don't care. I don't know them people. It's whatever. Nobody knows me over there.
Right.
But what I forgot was in one of our calls, he had showed us how to link our Instagram on our Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
When you post on Instagram, it would
It'll go to Facebook.
automatically upload to your Facebook. I didn't remember that. So I'm making my hair butter and I posted it on Instagram. Child, it uploads to Facebook.
So were you more comfortable posting on Instagram because nobody knew you over there? And it was like, okay, they
I
can't
don't know.
judge me.
Yeah.
But the people on
Um,
Facebook know who you are. They're
it,
like,
they know me to be Gillian that work at the college, not
right,
Gillian whipping hair butter. Like, who is
right.
this person? You know what I mean? So I posted it and then I started getting all these messages, all these comments. Jill, what are you making? They said, what kind of cake are you making? Because they know me to cook because I'm always cooking. And what kind of cake are you making? Because it looked like it's whipped. It looks like cake batter. Uh,
Wow.
oh my goodness. I'm like, it's not cake, it's hair butter. Hair butter. I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, that's what I've been using on the girls. They were like, I thought you said you was using shea butter. I said it is shea butter, but they were like, we want it. I'm like, well, it's not for sale. Like, it's just something that they were like, no, put it in containers. We'll pay for it. Like, put it in some stuff and, send it to us.
Yeah.
They bullied me into doing it. And I did it, and I had to price it. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, well, this looked like $5. This looked like two. I didn't have
Yeah.
even though I was a business professor, and this is why, in retrospect, if I had to go back in the classroom and teach business again, that curriculum would be so different.
Mm,
Because that textbook hokey pokey stuff, the business plan and the this and the this and the this and the that ain't
yeah.
it. That is not it at all. So I would, if I had to do it all over again, even though some of those theories helped, but the essence, the meat and potatoes of it is not in the textbook. It is
Right.
not in the textbook. So I would have done it so much differently, but that's how I started. They bought it. My first 8 customers were, to this day, they're still customers off of Facebook. And I started with the dollar store containers. Some people, by the time they got it, it had leaked out.
Mhm.
The phone number had smudged off. It was a hot mess. It was
Humble
definitely a
beginnings.
learning curve. But they believed in me, they supported me, and they pushed me along, and I bought into their confidence. And ultimately, I gathered my own confidence. The one nice thing about our products is because they're good, even when they arrived and they were leaky and the label was smudged, people didn't care. They just wanted the product. Even
Hmm.
during the pandemic when we were unable to get containers, and it was like, I don't have any shampoo bottles. And they're like, Sonny, we don't care. Go to the dollar store and put my hair butter in a Ziploc bag. I need it for so it was just like, we have that kind of community because they honestly grew with me from
Hmm.
the beginning when I was DMing them a screenshot of my price list, to seeing me get a website, to seeing me, they have been there the entire time. They have watched my kids grow.
Right.
It's like my daughter just left for college, and it was almost like we were in a room full of aunties. They saw her when she was in fourth grade.
Right.
Now they've watched her journey through a freshman in college, so that's just the kind of community that unknowingly I built.
Right.
You ain't asked me nothing about that, but okay, I'm gonna stop
But I
talking.
love that though. I love the community aspect. And I also love the fact that when you started the brand, you sought out mentorship first because typically people do that a little bit later on. So I feel like I don't know that if you could say that contributed to your success like early on, the fact that you have a good product as well, but also that you had support, like that support of being in a mentorship group or a group of other entrepreneurs who are, doing, something not the same thing, but they have businesses, they have challenges. You can bounce ideas off of each other. You can learn from what they're doing and things like that. Would you say that like that kind of helped you in the beginning?
It definitely helped, but it was not I'd be lying if I said it was an intentional next step. I did it because I felt like I needed to do something.
Mhm.
Ultimately, it turned out to be the best thing I did,
Yeah.
because through that group, I found someone, I borrowed his belief, and whether or not his wife said the products were good, which she did. I talked to her. She did say the products were good, but I got my first dose of confidence there.
Yeah.
And then going into the group, there were other people who also were selling products, and, where do I get bottles? What kind of labels do y'all use? So it was definitely helpful, and it was definitely a group of people who like shared your same challenges, or, well, I did this and this worked for me, maybe you should try that, or don't do that, do this instead. So
Gotcha.
it definitely gave me the leverage I needed, and to this day I'm like a big believer in mentorship. I feel like everybody needs it, and it has been super helpful for me, like, just mindset wise, and, just learning things that I wouldn't otherwise, maybe I would have learned, but it would have taken me longer.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm like a big advocate for mentorship.
for sure. When you started to, I guess, go ahead and make the products, sell the products, when did you kind of get more focused as to what you wanted the products to do? Because you were just, trying to find something for your daughter's hair and things like that. But I know now you have products that deal with like certain skin conditions like alopecia, like certain hair loss and skin conditions as well. So when did you determine like, okay, these actually work for this? Or were you like intentional about, okay, I'm going to make this to help alopecia? Or did you just realize that it helped people with like alopecia and things like that?
So when I started out first, I was just making products to like soften my daughter's hair, make it grow. They have 4C low porosity hair. So I needed something that was really going to go in and give them that moisture, helped us to retain moisture so I don't have to be doing hair again midweek and it looking dry or whatever. And I wanted their hair to grow. So I knew what the products did, but initially when I created them, it's not like I set out to make the hair butter and say, okay, this is going to be our number one selling growth product. It wasn't that. And it's not like I made the herbal oil to say this is going to be our growth oil for alopecia. I just knew we needed an oil. I knew we needed a butter. When we started using it, it was doing things that I just, I made it for this. But ooh, okay, you don't got dandruff anymore, or ooh, So I mean, when I got the brand officially, and everything we have in our brand, I'm super intentional about. Like I don't really follow trends, and I don't put out products willy-nilly just because, oh, I feel like we need an extra, mango shampoo, so I'll put it out there. If I put out something, it solves a need. Somebody messaged me, or it's a need that I have for myself, or enough of our sunflowers have said, hey, Sunny, do you have something for, alopecia? Do you have something for eczema? Do you have something? And I'm like, what? As a matter of fact, I do. Like this body butter, like help my husband's eczema. Try this. And then something interesting happened yesterday. I got a DM from one of our, I call them sunflowers.
Oh, so
Um,
cute.
yeah, and she's like, Sunny, when are you going to restock the hypoallergenic skin butter? Like, I need that. She said, I see that you have the 2-ounce size, but I really want to get the bigger one because that's all I use on my baby who is like struggled with eczema. And it was such a beautiful moment for me because it just made me realize that the products I make, I'm not just making them to sell a product. Like I'm really helping people. This woman is dependent on me to make this hypoallergenic skin butter because her baby has eczema and she needs this and she doesn't want him to have a flare up.
Right.
So in that moment, I apologized to her and because I really had no good reason to not make it besides the fact that I'd probably get to it whenever I got to it. But I'm like, there are people that are truly depending on our products because our products really provide solutions for multiple skin and hair care issues. So it's not optional for these people. They found something that works for them and they need to make sure that it's available whenever they want to purchase. So
Right.
I need to get it together and make sure when these things are low stock or sold out, we have something coming because people are waiting. And it's not just a beauty thing, like, oh, I didn't have the right shade eyeshadow.
Right.
It's a health issue. This is going
Right.
to determine whether or not your kid has a week of itching and scratching and getting sleep at night. So I
Right.
mean, that's just the kind of responsibility that, I feel and towards our customers. And like, yeah, to answer your question, everything we have has been made with intention.
Yeah, for sure. So what does production look like now? I know you started mixing it up at home, but do you have like a studio space or kind of fulfillment center now?
Yeah, so we started in the kitchen at the tiny townhouse. Then we moved during the pandemic and we were using our basement space to run our business. So like production and then packing and all of that stuff. Now we have a warehouse, so we now have things are more automated. We have people that help us to make the products. The one thing we did, we kept the formulation the same because like I tell people, I'm scared to add an extra drop of water in anything
Okay.
because it might throw it off and I don't want that. So we have kept the formulation the same. It's worked. If it's not broke, I'm not going to fix it. We are
Right.
not the brand that's for everybody.
Hmm.
When people think about hair products, they want something that smells like berries and strawberries and sweet dreams. And if you shop with us, it's probably going to smell more like lavender and peppermint. And we use essential oils. Now,
Right.
with our body products, I do play a little bit with like fragrance oils. But as far as like our hair products go and stuff, like I'm intentional about just using essential oil. So in the beginning, I remember people would say, oh, it smells like shea butter. I'm like, yeah, that's what's in it.
Yeah,
Like
that's
it's
what it is.
like
You're not trying to cover up and mask the smell with a whole
right.
bunch of additives and
Yeah.
stuff.
Like you should put a little fragrance in it. No, that's not what we do. Like if you want something with fragrance, then there are people that do that. But for us here at Sunny, we are very sure about what our calling is and what it is that we do. And
Hmm.
we're talking to the people who want natural products in their natural form. That's what we
Right.
do here. So it was like, that was also a big thing, just owning that. Because there were
Mhm.
days when I was tempted, like, oh, maybe I should put a little. And I'm like, no, that's not what we're doing. So that also took some confidence and belief in what I was doing, and believing in the results I was getting. I saw the results. You know, for example, you asked me about the oil for alopecia. When I was doing my daughter's hair at home, I did not have an alopecia oil. We didn't have a need because nobody in the house had alopecia.
Right.
The first trade show, the first show I did, one of my friend's moms, who was one of our first customers as well, she lives in Baltimore, and she sent me a email one day telling me about the Baltimore Hair Show, Hair Expo.
Okay.
And I was like, why does she think I'm ready for, I mean, an expo? You know, like I'm not at that level. I didn't see myself. She sent it to me and she was like, I think you should do it. You know, I'm gonna come by on Sunday with my church sisters. And she taught me into it, girl. And I borrowed $500 from my mom, and I got containers, and I had to get labels because I didn't have to date, I
You gotta
didn't
look
have nice
official.
looking labels. Yes.
Mhm.
So I got labels and I got containers, and we rolled up to it was the Armory House in Baltimore, and we had our hair show. And we were there, and this girl came by and she was on the phone and she was FaceTiming with somebody. And she was like, "Can I look around?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she was like, I'm talking to her mom, and she was like, I had this little bottle of the intensive oil. Now, it wasn't in production because that was the first time I had the experience. I've had it several times since then, but that was the first time I've had the experience of going to sleep and waking up with a formulation for a product. It's never happened to me before.
Wow.
So I was also in a season of obedience, and I need to go back to that season, but I was also in a season of obedience where I was doing whatever God dropped in my spirit. I was like executing right away.
Yeah.
And it had gotten me out of that 2 bedroom. No, we were still in the 2 bedroom house, but it had gotten me out of that depression. Cause like, remember I told you I was like so depressed. And when
Right.
I started this business, it's almost like I had like this new fire in me. I felt lively. I felt like I had a purpose. I felt like, oh, okay, maybe this is what I should be doing and not that fourth kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I went to sleep one day and I had a clear dream to the point where I could remember all the ingredients, all the measurements, and something was like, make this oil. And I
That is
got up.
divine. I love that.
Yes, I always know when it's divine when I have everything I need in the house. If I got to go buy something, to me, it's just too much effort. But if God
Yeah.
drops it in your spirit, everything you need gonna be right there.
Wow.
That's how I know the difference. So I woke up and everything I needed, everything I had dreamt about was in the house. And I made the oil, but I was scared to sell it because I wasn't sure if it had worked. Because
Mhm.
everything I've sold to date, I could stand 10 toes deep on because
Yeah.
I know it works. This oil I had never used, I had no experience with it. And I took it to the show and I had one bottle of it. And I the only reason why I brought it was because the booth was so sparse looking because we didn't have a lot of products. I was just like looking for stuff to like make it look full. So I
Yeah.
have put the bottle up there and I put it up there next to our herbal oil. So we have an intensive scalp oil, which is for the alopecia. We got an herbal oil, which is like a good everyday oil for like length and fullness and shine and all of that stuff, strengthening. So this lady comes by and she's on the phone and she said, what about this one? And she points to the oil. Now it's the only bottle that does not have a nice looking label. It still had the white Avery label
Yeah.
because I wasn't sold on it. I had no experience with it. I just felt like I needed to be obedient. And God said, put it up there. I'm gonna put it up there. Okay. I put it up there. She said, what about that one? And I said, what is it for? And she was like, oh, it's for my mom. I have her on FaceTime. She wants that one. And I'm like,
And she
oh,
would want that one, right?
yeah. And I'm like, no, maybe she should get this one. So I'm pointing to the other oil, which I know works. I don't know about this one, but I know this one works. And she was like, oh, she's going through chemo and she's lost all her hair and she's looking for a growth oil to grow her hair back. And I'm like, oh, I said, well, I would get this one. And I'm pointing to the herbal one, not the one she's pointing to. And she was like, oh, okay. And she walks away. And I'm thinking, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And about 30 minutes, she comes back and she has her mom on FaceTime. And she says to me, my mom wants to know if you would sell her that oil. I said, it's the only one I have, but if she wants it, you know, I'll sell it to her. And she said, yeah, she wants it. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I sold it to her. And I wrestled with it so much because I'm such a person, I'm such a, you know, when you're a person with integrity, it's good and bad.
Right.
Integrity could make you, and I'm not even going to say miss out on opportunities, because if it's not filled with integrity, then it probably was an opportunity for you anyway. But
Mm-hmm.
when you're a person that you're just like so morally sound, things like that bother you. And
Yeah.
it bothered me because I had taken this lady's $25 and I wasn't sure if what I sold her was going to work because I had
Right.
no proof. All right, sold her the oil, trade show ended. We did well, all of that stuff. I hadn't heard from her. About a month later, I get a DM. And she was like, "Hey, I don't know if you remember me. I'm the girl from the trade show. You sold me the oil." She said, "I just wanted to show you a before and after on my mom's hair using the oil."
Uh-huh. Look, I'm getting chills already.
So yeah, when I tell you, I was like, the oil did that. I didn't know what the oil could do because I
Right.
wasn't even selling the oil at this point because I didn't believe in the oil. I was like, what? She said, yeah. She was like, we want to know if we could order more. All the ladies that is in our chemo, because they do like a group chemo, they want it. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So I made it and she ordered more and people started ordering, right?
Yeah.
And she would send me updates like every couple of months. And she was an older lady and she had like the little cutest afro growing back with like her black and white speckled
Yeah.
gray hair. And you could just tell like her swag in each picture she sent me. You could just see the confidence,
I
the
love
confidence
that.
glow up. And then I stopped hearing from her.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, okay. And I couldn't remember by this point, the brand, we were getting bigger. I couldn't remember her Instagram handle to message her. And one day I got a message, maybe about a year later, I got a message from her. And she said, every time I tell the story, I'm like, ugh. She said, I just want to let you know that we lost my mom,
Mm.
but I just want to tell you thank you for making the last few years of her life. Like she said, you changed her confidence, that oil and her hair growing back. She just had a light in her. And I just want to tell you thank you for that. And
Yeah. Ah,
so that's how that oil came to be. Right.
yes. And the
At that point,
testimonials that come
yeah,
from it.
yeah. And that's the
Wow.
thing about when you build a brand from an authentic place, you got real stories.
Yeah.
I don't gotta go make up stuff or somebody don't have to tell me like I have real stories,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just one of those that it was unfortunate that, she lost her mom, but knowing that her last couple of months she was confident and happy because her hair was growing back and that just made I often consider changing the name of the oil to the lady's name. I think about that sometimes, but I don't know if she would want me to do that, but yeah.
Or maybe like a philanthropic type of thing of like taking the proceeds and like donating part of the
Yeah,
proceeds to
yeah, chemo
like
or something,
chemo, yeah,
right?
chemo patients or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is an incredible story. And I hear stories like that all the time with like people growing their hair back, the confidence shifts and things like that. One thing I did want to ask you about, is I did read like a little bit of your story and it resonated with me when you were talking about and I know this is going to resonate with somebody else because us as creatives, we're good at a lot of things. Just like you were like when you got on the calls, like, what do you do? Oh, I cook, I do this, I do that. We're good at a lot of things. And one thing you said was like you were just asking God, like, what am I supposed to do? And you was like, he said, just choose one
Mhm.
thing. And then like,
One.
how did that actually feel? Because I feel like us as creatives, like I said, we're multifaceted and we could do this and we could do that, but it's like choosing one thing, like
Right.
to actually focus on, like how did that
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
feel?
What made it easy for me? I felt like I could have probably been successful at any one of them.
Hmm.
But what made it easy for me was the fact that I had what I needed to do that to make the products. I had it in the house. That's a big one for me. And that's helped me a lot because I didn't have to go order anything from Amazon or wait for it. I
Yeah.
had everything I needed there. The only thing I didn't have was the containers. So I had hair butter under my sink. I had black soap shampoo. I had leave-in conditioner. I had oil. So it's not something I had to go recreate or figure out a formulation for or go research a little bit more about this. It was already done. It was just turning it into a diamond. I had this rough rock. It was just like turning it into a diamond, but it was there. I had
Yeah.
it. So but in all honesty, if he had said, send me some oxtails, I would have probably been selling oxtails because I
Right.
can do a lot of things, I could do a lot of things, but I'm so glad that this is the one that I selected because it has so much meaning for me, being able to tie it back to my daughters and just like these products just making such a difference in their self-confidence. They got hair blowing in the breeze now, because of these products. So,
Yeah.
attach it to something that, to answer your question, attach it to or select something that has meaning to you, something that has purpose, something that adds value, something
Yeah.
that's impactful. You know what I'm saying? So I could cook oxtails, but then how many Jamaican restaurants we have? Do we need another one? I mean, we could always have another one,
Yeah.
but how are my oxtails different?
Yeah.
So you just got to find, and the hair care, the beauty industry is super saturated. It's not like a wide open space,
Hmm.
but you just have to find your lane. And for us, our lane is just natural products, creating products with intention. It's not about like watering things down to like stretch a profit margin. It's
Right.
just making sure that when you shop with me, I'm looking for a lifetime customer.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's always my goal. When I get a new customer, I'm not looking for a one and done. I'm looking for somebody that buys into our belief, buys into our culture, is going to come back, is going to tell people. Our customers have been with us since the very beginning. I don't know of a lot of beauty brands that could say they've had the same customers for 5 years. Like
Right.
the beauty space is very fickle. People are always looking for new things. Oh, you heard about the new this? Oh, you heard about the new that? And they go experiment, girl. They come right back home and they tell me, they were like, child, we left for a little bit because, but yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm back. I'm like, welcome home,
Right.
welcome back,
Welcome
So
back.
yeah. I don't know if that answered your
Yeah,
question, but
for
is
sure.
that helpful?
Yeah, but definitely choosing something that has a meaning and
For
that's going to
sure.
create some impact. So when you
Yeah.
decided to actually go full steam ahead and make this a real thing, how did you go about choosing the name, setting up the business legit, getting a team? Like it's just so many different moving parts that go into creating like a successful brand
Yeah.
marketing and all of those things
So I think that's where the previous experience I had came into play.
as a
You know,
professor.
yes, the textbook knowledge. I
Yeah.
knew that I needed to secure my name. I knew that I needed a name, right? I knew that we needed to have structure. I knew that we needed to be set up a certain way. I knew that we needed to, have our money looking transparent to the, not like shady. Everything
Yeah.
needs to be clear. So I knew that. So I went into it with those pillars in place. So it was pretty easy to drop things in their respective boxes. The hardest thing, scaling a business is very hard.
Hmm.
And when you grow to a certain level, getting to the next level, to get to that first level requires physical labor. We were working hard, up late, 2 o'clock in the morning, filling orders. It was just me and my husband. We had thousands of orders. We were making the product, shipping the product, labeling the product, going to the post. We were doing everything, him and I.
Yeah.
And that was not sustainable after a certain point. But learning to hire the right people, learning to trust people with your business, learning to share your vision, and hopefully somebody else can see it
Yeah.
and execute it the way you would want to, that's a whole nother,
And that's trial and error.
that's trial and error. That's money because
Yep.
um yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been challenging. I've learned a lot. We've made a lot of mistakes. We've probably wasted a lot of money. I don't call it a waste. It's
Yeah.
like, if you don't know, it's
Investment.
not a waste. It's a business expense, right? We'll
Yeah.
just chop it up at that. But we have learned like so much, so much, so much.
Mhm.
And the beautiful thing is, the thing that I'm most grateful for is the fact that my kids are seeing us go through this journey. So, they were there with us in the beginning, helping me wrap deep conditioner, helping me do this, putting this in the packets, staying up and helping me. Okay, the simple orders, my daughters, you put that in a bag, let me double check it. They were there with me from the very beginning. So for them to like see the growth, see the progression, see how we were able to leave like our home and just like make a better lives for ourselves, and them seeing me and their dad do that. And even though, they weren't involved in every single thing, kids are like sponges. They watch you. So my kids have gotten a master class in business,
I know that's right.
like unknowingly, probably a PhD education in business, just watching us grow something from me making something for them in a Tupperware
Yeah.
to now having, distributing products everywhere,
Right.
so for me, that's where the value is. And the value is also in the testimonials and the feedback we get from people of, how we've helped reverse their alopecia and their eczema is no longer, and the
Mhm.
seborrheic dermatitis is gone, and the psoriasis is no more, and the hair is no longer dry, and
Wow.
girl, my hair finally grew past my shoulders for the first time in 12 years, and the bald spot,
Yeah.
that's where it is. And on days when I want to quit, because there's days when, girl, I want to throw the whole business
Okay.
out the window.
Throw all the shea butter away.
All the shea butter, the black soap, all of it. Take it and leave me alone. There, on those days, that feedback just gives me the spark that I need to keep going, because I know that we're being impactful, and I know that people are depending on us, to
Sure.
help them. So
For sure. I feel like when you have a mission that is outside of yourself, because I know for me, it's like I don't want to let people down.
right.
So I can't
Me
like,
too.
I don't want to let people down. So when it's outside of me and it gets hard, it's like, okay, well, I know that this person is relying on it for their baby, or this person out there may have, alopecia or, something like that.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. One of my friends one day, she said to me, she said, as human beings, we'll do things for others that we won't do for ourselves. And that is so true.
it
That
is.
is so, so true.
Yeah.
So
You have to tell the Friends and Beauty audience, you told me, but where the name of the brand comes from.
oh, yeah. So Sunny and Demby. So when I got to the point where I finally realized that, okay, we have something worth branding or holding on to, and I was trying to think of a name, and me and my husband, we were brainstorming about a lot of things. Like I told you, I grew up in Jamaica. Like my family and I migrated to the US when I was 15 years old. So my roots are very much, my formative years were
Yeah.
in Jamaica. So, that has like a really big place in my heart. And some of the fondest memories I had as a kid growing up were growing up in Denbigh, Jamaica. That's where I live. Like, I lived on Anderson Street in Denbigh. And when I was thinking about a name for the brand, I just wanted to pay homage to those sunny days I had running around as a kid barefoot in Jamaica, eating mangoes and, playing in the streets. I wanted to pay homage to that, because that's the vibe that I wanted to bring, just a sunny, happy vibe. So we called the brand Sunny in Denby. And then I've since been dubbed Sunny. So now they call me Sunny, and the
Yes.
brand is Denby. So yes, that's where the name came from. Denby is actually a place where I lived and I grew up my entire life until I came here,
Yes.
United States. So yes.
I love that. Shout out to all the Yardie them.
Yes, big up yourself.
I absolutely love that. What is it like, I guess having your husband of 20 years, 21 years be a part of the business?
Girl, how much time you got?
Like your face said it all.
You know, listen, my husband and I both had our respective careers.
Is he Jamaican too?
No, my husband is Liberian. He's
Oh,
African.
okay. Uh-huh.
So when the business started scaling, I quit my job and he was still working, and we started scaling, and I was drowning. I couldn't do everything. So I was like, he was like, all right, I'm gonna quit my job. I feel like I can quit my job now and come on and help you. And I was happy. I was excited. But what I didn't think through was we're both doers. We're both gonna make it happen, right? He's leaving his job, coming into my space. This is my baby. Sunny is my,
Mm-hmm.
and we weren't clear about the roles. So he came in and he's like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And I'm like, no, but I do that. Oh, okay, well, let me do this. Well, I was gonna do that next. Like, and we had a couple of months where it was like I wouldn't make room for him. Not because I didn't want the help, but because I was used to doing it all.
Yeah.
And we started butting heads, him and I, because it's almost like he didn't know where he fit. I didn't know where I wanted him to fit. I know I wanted him around, but because he's a doer, he's not going to sit around and shake his foot all day waiting
Yeah,
for me
not
to say,
doing anything.
right. Girl, we ended up going to therapy because I was just like, listen, we started bickering and fighting and, and we were never the kind of couple to like bicker at each other too much. So this was odd.
Yeah.
Ended up, so we had a meeting with our accountant one day and he knows us very well. And he was like, so how are y'all doing? I'm like, okay. I said, we've been fighting a lot. And he's like, oh, he said, yeah, it happens. He was like, have you ever considered therapy? I'm like, no, no. He was like, yeah, go talk to somebody. They can help you work through it. He said, you guys just need to define your roles. This is what he does. This is what you do. And we went, and when I tell you, it was like eye-opening. He's good at accounting and numbers and business and taking calls. And
Yeah.
I just want to make stuff. I
Yeah.
want to make hair butter. When I get off of this call, I'm gonna go make me some soap that I've been thinking about since yesterday that I want to try. I got to make some hypoallergenic skin butter. I just want to make stuff. I'm a true creator. I get my joy. I feed myself by making things. So I just want to make things. I don't like meetings. I don't like numbers. I don't like paperwork. I felt like when I quit my job, I don't want to take another meeting ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm done with that. Yeah.
Right. He loves that stuff. He'll be on Zoom 24/7. I was like, sir, no, like, I need to go outside and get some sun and So it worked. And once we were able to clearly define our roles in the business, it works beautifully. It works beautifully. He's not here with me this week because he has jury duty. They kept him this week. And I feel like so lost. Like he ain't here. Like I do. I feel like, okay, my business partner here, like I can't wait for it to be over to get him back. But we had a rough period. I'm not even gonna lie. We did have a rough period, but we worked through it and it turned out to be like one of the best things that we got closer, not just in like our business, but like in our relationship. It helped us a lot. It helped us a
Yeah,
lot.
and that's good to know for people just in general, bringing people on, like knowing how to delegate tasks and
Yeah.
everything like that, knowing how to delegate, tell people what they need to do, what you're going to
Yeah.
do, letting go as well, like not holding on
Yeah.
too tight onto like the things that you know that you want to do, but like let somebody else do it.
Exactly. I had a really hard time with that part. And I think it was because I wasn't able to articulate what it is that I wanted. So
Mm.
once I was clear about that and I could say, okay, this is what I want, this is how I think we should do it. And he'll say, but maybe if we did this, and I'm like, you know what, that ain't a bad idea. Maybe we should, just being more open to
Yeah.
like other people. But this was my thing for so long that I was like mama bear. I was just holding on to it and hugging it up. And once I let go and allowed people to like help and all of that, like it just grew into something else. So
Yeah. So you all are both operating the business full time?
yeah.
That is fantastic.
And we have
Since
our
when?
moms, huh?
Since when? Because you started in 2019. So when did you go
He
full
came
time?
on full time it's been about 2 years. It's been about 2 years.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, we work with our mothers. So my mom makes like all the intensive all the herbal growth oils. Now imagine running a business with your husband, your mom, and your mother-in-law and your
Right?
baby. Girl.
You gonna need the hair growth oil.
Right.
Stop pulling your hair out.
Right. You got some Africans and some Jamaicans together. It's like, okay, but it's such a beautiful thing. I absolutely love it. We were able to retire both our mothers to help us. And
Wow.
they come when they want. I ain't seen them in weeks, but that's okay. They'll pop up together, they'll pop up separately. And I just love that we were able to do that and that we're able to like nothing makes me happier than when we're all there like on a certain day. We're not all there all the time,
Yeah.
but like maybe a few times a week we're like all there and just working and making. It's just such a beautiful, loving, reassuring. I just thank God for it every single time. Like, I get that opportunity where we're all there in the warehouse together just working and vibing. It's
Yeah.
like really, that's why the products work, y'all. They are full of love
I was
and
about to say
positive
that. Yeah.
vibes, and got these two old ladies on my neck all day harassing me about something and what I ain't doing, what we need to do. So yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that so much. When it comes to the community aspect, I wanted to circle back to your sunflowers. Like, what are you doing intentionally to build the community? Like, what's working and what had you tried before that may not have worked? Or maybe, I don't know if anything didn't work, but what's working as far as building community and what's not working or what wasn't working?
So I'll be honest, the community building aspect for me was very organic and not intentional. And I think that's the way we built our brand. We started our brand the year before the pandemic. And during the pandemic, it's almost like we had a captive audience because everybody
Mhm.
was on social media, everybody was at home. So I would get on live with the girls and show them how to use the product. This is how you use the leave-in. I just shampooed Marley's hair with our eucalyptus shampoo bar. I'm gonna seal the moisture in with the herbal growth oil. I'm gonna do her chunky twist with the hair butter. They see me from beginning to end and the finished product, and they have watched us do this over the years. So it was like I didn't realize that I was building community, but when you're authentic, when people could really resonate with you, they see that, okay, this ain't somebody trying to sell me something that she herself isn't using. I see her put it on her girl's hair. I
Yeah.
see what the hair looked like before. I see what it looks like now. They bought in. And they bought into the idea of, I think, just us being authentic. Now, we had a period where when the girls became teenagers, they didn't want to do the videos anymore.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we had that. I think they're coming back around now, but we had maybe about 2 or 3 years where they were like, no, I don't want my friends seeing me, or mommy, I can't believe you posted that video of me. I look crazy. Like, yeah.
Teenagers, yeah.
Yeah, I had to respect that. I
Mhm.
had to respect that. Okay, they didn't want to be shown in that way. They didn't want me to, show. So I pulled back. Now I feel like they're a little older. And I think with social media just being people just showing everything, they're more comfortable with it. So, but we did have that period. But going back to building the community, I was always talking to them. There was one point where I did a live every single day. Not because,
Wow.
well, I had to do it because that's how we got customers. I was telling people how to use the product. I would go get one of the girls. Hold on, let me get L, come here real quick. Let me show her how to put this on her hair. And I was doing all of that. So when you show up for people often and consistently, there is a certain level of trust that let me tell you something. I could decide today, I'm going to sell some purple flavored water and go on there and sell it for $50 a bottle. And
Uh-huh.
they
Right, because they trust you.
they trust me. They know that when I say something, I stand behind it, and I'm not the person that they got to hide from and seek out and not answering their emails and DMing me and I don't respond and they can't hear from me no more. They trust me. Now, with that comes a certain level of responsibility, because when people got that much trust in you, once people lose trust in you, you don't got nothing else.
Right. Because I feel like this is our cancel, we're in the cancel culture now. So the
For
one little thing
sure.
that you do is like they just waiting.
Sure. They
Hmm.
are just waiting to pick it apart. So if you say you're going to do X, or if you make something and you said this is what it's going to do, you better be sure that's what it does.
Right.
Because when people will, we built a brand, we built a seven-figure business on packaging that was janky, that on social media content that I filmed on my phone without advertising, without a marketing team, me and my husband, right?
Mm.
Just based on a good product and authenticity. That's all
Yeah.
people want.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That's all
showing up for them.
showing up for them. And I got to remind myself of that, because sometimes we get caught up in the sauce and we forget, like, that's what they want. You're
Just like
looking
the
for all
simple
the
things. I feel like we're looking for like the bells
simple.
and whistles, but it
It's
really is just
simple. It's
simple.
simple. But
Hmm.
social media is such a saturated place now. Like, people are so jaded by social because, they've been tricked.
Yeah.
Like,
You got to question everything that you see now on social media.
everything. I mean, I just put up a post the other day where I saw this other brand using my daughter's picture to sell an oil.
See?
And I posted
Mhm.
that in our stories. I'm like, they were like, girl, why they got Elle's hair up there selling? I'm like, I'm glad y'all know. But for somebody who has never interfaced with our brand, you see that brand, right? You come back on my page and you see the same picture. You're like,
Right.
see? That's why I
brand
don't trust people.
recognition,
Who is it? Who does it belong to?
wow.
So there's that too. But community, you just got to be consistent. And even like during this time when I feel like a lot of businesses have pulled back from showing up for their community because it's been a hard year for retail. It's been a really hard year for business. Like people are not spending as much as, especially in our industry, like people are just not spending as much as they used to. But I've been super intentional about continuing to show up for our community because guess what? If I show up for you when it's rocky, then you already know.
Yeah,
Seasons don't last.
right. They come
Seasons
and
don't
go.
last. You ain't gonna be down forever. Then you're gonna come back up. And you can't just pop up when stuff is, oh hey, I'm back. Like, girl, where you been?
Right, where you
So
been?
just staying consistent, people appreciate that. And like you will attract your tribe. Everybody ain't for you. Everybody's not
Exactly.
for you. But the people you're talking to, they know you're talking to them. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
yeah, for sure. Speaking of retail, are you in retail anywhere or you just sell on your own?
we do everything e-commerce. We're not in retail.
No Amazon or anything like that?
We're working on it, but no, we're not there yet.
Got you.
Everything is on our website.
Okay, I love it.
Mhm.
What's the overall legacy or yeah, the legacy for the brand that you're working on?
I just want to still, at the end of this, I got some good years left in me. So I don't think, we're exiting this game
Of course.
anytime soon. But at the end of it all, I would want us to be remembered as the brand that just consistent, just being consistent. We don't have to be the biggest brand, but I just want us to be consistent. I
Yeah.
want us to be consistent and I want us to add value. And I would love for maybe one of the kids to take over. I don't know if that's I can't force that on them because this was our passion. This doesn't necessarily have to be theirs.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful for the lessons that they have learned through us, just seeing us grow something from nothing to something. So I'm really hoping that legacy wise, I'm really hoping that one of them would, take over and continue to do right,
Yeah.
continue to do right. So yeah.
Love that. Is there anything that's coming up next for the brand that we should know about or that you can share?
Um we have our fall drop coming. We were just at Essence this past
Okay.
summer, and we have our other big show is IBS. That's in
Yep.
January in New York. We have our fall drop coming, which is always, huge for us. We dropped a new beauty package yesterday, but in this season, we're honestly just trying to ride the wave, not do too much, ride it out to the end. And I'm just really waiting for, the next level,
I love it.
next level. So just staying consistent, I know what the pillars are. I know the pillars that got us to where we are. So just reinforcing those pillars, showing up for our community, and yeah, just waiting to get to the next level.
I love that. Well, I've learned so much about Sunny and Denby, about you. I, I have to let you go, but I can't let you go before I ask you the Friends of Beauty rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So whatever comes to your mind first, you could just spit it out. And if you need to elaborate, that's fine too. So the first one is, what are the top three keys to your success so far?
Consistency, passion, community.
I like that. Consistency, passion, and community. How do you measure your success?
Just feeling fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like for me, success is not like a monetary milestone. If I'm happy, if I feel fulfilled in my life, for me that's success.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not a title, it's not a, you know, dollar amount, it's not a award, it's a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Okay.
being content.
Yeah, for sure. What's the best advice you've ever received or a piece of advice that's just like always stuck with you?
As far as business or just in general?
Just in general.
You know, I remember being a little girl and my mom telling me, if you find one true friend in life, you've won. And I'm like, what is this lady talking about? I got like 65 friends.
Right.
Like, what does she mean? Like, I got all the friends. But as you get older, that really means something very, very different.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got one person that you can really call a friend, like you've won at life.
Yeah, a solid friend.
A solid friend. You got a lot of people you talk to, but that one. You know that one. So yeah.
Yeah. What advice would you give to another brand owner right now who is just not having the best time and they're just ready to give up? They're not seeing the success that they may want and they're just ready to give up the brand.
It depends though. It depends. Like, if you just don't have the money to continue, then that's something else. But if you just feel discouraged, then I would just tell you to remember why you started it. Remember why you started, get back to those. Because I feel like sometimes as business people, we grow and we really forget where we came from or why we started or the fire that we had initially. Just try, if it's not like a money thing and you can continue, try to find that spark, like try to find that fire and give up and do what? Like, what are your options?
Right.
Like think about your life as an entrepreneur and then go back and think about your life as like, going back into the workforce, or which one do you prefer? Like, which one do you want to fight for? For me, I'm always going to fight for being an entrepreneur because I just love the freedom that I have. And it's just like, there's no limit to it. Like when you work at a job, I feel like there's a limit. But when you're an entrepreneur, there's really no limit to like how high you can go. So it really just depends on the situation. But if you can hang in there another month, do it. Push it as if you got the fuel to go another week,
Yeah.
push it because your breakthrough might be in that week. So
Yeah.
don't quit before it's time.
Yes. Hold on. Hold on.
Hold on if you can.
Yes. What's a resource that helps you in your business that you could share with the friends and beauty community?
A resource. Like a website or
Yeah, website, a book, a tool,
uh,
anything that you like to use frequently, a piece of machine. I don't know.
you know what I like? I like listening to this podcast called How I Made It.
Yeah. Or how I
And
built
I'll
this
put
or
that,
something like that.
huh?
Like how I built this or
How I
something.
built this, how I
Yeah.
built this. It's by Guy something. Okay. And I'll put that on like when I'm making, products or when I'm just in the warehouse by myself. And it helps me so much because it just makes me realize that everything I'm going through that I think is unique to me, like it's just part of the process. And the people who hang on and ride the wave and, don't give up, like the only way you can lose is if you give up. If
Yeah.
you keep going, there's going to be a breakthrough. So for me, that just feeds my soul. That just offers me like reinforcement. That just offers me like motivation just to keep going because it just makes me realize like, man, I thought my situation was bad, but that happened to him and he made
Right.
it. Like I need to keep going. So,
Right.
that's something that I always lean on, like when I just need well, I put it on all the time, but I just love listening to it because everybody has a unique story. Everybody's story is different. And when you think you got it bad, there's people out there that had it a lot worse. They hung in there and today they're doing well. So
Yeah.
that helps me a lot.
Yep. It put things in perspective for
It
sure.
really does. It really does.
Yeah. So the last one, I just want you to fill in the blank, repeat this statement and fill in the blank, and just say, my name is blank, and the key to longevity and success is blank, like whatever you think it is.
My name is Gillian, aka Sunny, owner and founder of Sunny in Denbigh. And the key to longevity in the beauty space is being consistent, showing up for your audience, and putting out products that actually provide solutions to people.
Absolutely, I agree. Before you go, please share anything you want to share, social media, website, however you want people to continue to connect with you, follow the brand, get some products, all the things.
Okay. So we're on Instagram. Our biggest social is Instagram. We're Sunny in Denbigh. So it's SUNNYINDENBIGH. And we say Sunny in Denbigh. That's also our website, www.sunnyindenbigh.com. We got a blog. We got a hair quiz. You know, you can email us at info@sunnyindenbigh.com. We'll be more than happy to give you recommendations or answer your questions or whatever it is that you need. So those are ways that people can connect with us.
You know, I am so silly. I had to mute myself just now. I was so silly. This is like so random. I had to mute myself. I said, ooh, let me try to hold the space bar.
Did it? You see?
I was like hovering over it and it said mute. It said to hold down the space bar and it unmutes you.
That's what I didn't know that. So see, now I don't even keep the computer in my lap no more. Look, it's right over it. I didn't know that, and that's what happened. But you know what? God did it.
Thank God for it, because look at you now.
I thank God, because I would have still been at that job to this day, hanging on, talking about next week. I'm gonna do it next week. Changing the date on that letter.
So random of me. I said, let me hold down the space bar real quick and see it unmuted.
Yes, that's what happened to me, and I did not know that until that embarrassing moment happened.
Yeah, well, we're glad that it happened, and I'm so happy for you and the success that you're having with your brand. I wish you continue success, and thank you for sharing with your journey with us here at the Friends in Beauty podcast.
You are so welcome. Thank you for having me, and
thanks for listening to the Friends in Beauty podcast. Don't forget, sharing is caring. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with another friend in beauty. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe, rate, and leave a 5-star review so that other friends in beauty can find the show. Plus, we'd love to hear your feedback. Connect with us on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty, hashtag Friends in Beauty to join the conversation, and join our Friends in Beauty Facebook community to stay connected. Talk to you soon.